Hello, hello. Welcome. Today I will be discussing online safe spaces with someone that I really respect and really admire and really love. Her name is Utanshi. She is a lawyer and she is the program director of the Fem Justice Center at One Future Collective. She's a facilitator and I've had the honor of actually her being my teacher and learning from her. So very excited for y'all to meet her and to also talk about what online safe spaces can look like and what One Future Collective, which happens to be my home and all of you know, I cannot shut up about them. So what is One Future Collective doing to foster these online safe spaces? So I'm just going to quickly add Utanshi. This is that awkward silence before she joins us.
Hi.
Hi, how are you, Utanshi?
I'm good. Can you see me, hear me? Is everything okay?
Oh, perfectly. You're so bright. I love your, whatever light situation is, I love it.
No, I'm glad.
I
How have
think
you been?
I've mastered the art of just being perfect on these lives, no?
No, I really haven't. Honestly, I've learned from you. I've seen you do so many of these with such lovely people over the last couple of months. So honestly, it's from you to me than from me to you.
Lies. It's both ways. I feel like both of us, actually, I was a facilitator at one of the courses that you did at One Future. And then you were a facilitator at the course that I did. So yeah, we learn from each other.
Yes, always.
Yes. Oh wait, I just did your introduction, but I forgot the most important part, which is the most exciting thing about Utanshi is she can give you incredible food recommendations. So you can I mean you can't, I'm a friend so I can, but I can reach out to Utanshi about like the mood or like what kind of mood or feelings I want to evoke, and Utanshi will be able to give me perfect recommendation based on that.
Yes,
So I think that
it's
that is your USP, really. Lawyer,
yeah. No, I agree. So it's something I'm really passionate about. Like, it's not even like I like eating out that much or going out that much, but I'm so eager for people to check out these places that I've been to or like I've heard about. I always do that with a bunch of people, no matter where I go. If I've been there, then you're going to get a list from me, no matter like if you like it or not. And my friends sort of they start calling me out on it. They're just like, listen, I can't do this anymore. You need to shut up. I will ask you. But yeah, I think it really excites me.
Yeah, great. Let's just jump straight into our
Yes.
live, the conversation short so that people who've joined us are able to stay with us till the end. We're discussing something that both of us are really passionate about, which is online safe spaces. And in fact, you and I haven't met in real life. We've only
Yeah.
met in safe spaces fostered and created by One Future Collective.
Yeah.
So I'd love to know from you, Utanshi, since you've been leading quite a few of these safe spaces online, why do you think they're important? Why do you think these communities that we're trying to build online, especially in the context of COVID, and I mean beyond that as well? Now that we know that this can happen and this is sustainable, why not? Why not keep it going, right? So I'd love to know from you, why do you think this is important?
Thanks, Aprupa. I think that's a very, very, important question, like you said, especially because of the year that's been. And from what it looks like, it's going to just sort of, we're in a loop and it's going to happen again.
Yeah.
But I think to answer your question, definitely, to say the obvious, they're definitely very important, right? And the understanding that they've become this important, especially for me personally in my personal journey, but also I think in my in my life and my relationships, what's really come out is the fact that over the last year our understanding of safe spaces has really evolved, from beyond spaces and people that we meet with or we used to meet with physically, to look at how we can thrive, right? And even if not thrive, on some days just get by through an online space. I feel like sometimes what's happened over the past year is my biggest learning has been that, we traditionally associate home with safety, which definitely has not been it has definitely not been true, right? We've seen that with domestic violence. We've seen that with the general amount of harassment that people from all marginalized communities, but definitely queer folks and women have had to face at the hands of their family members. And these have been people that for good or bad, we've been able to live away from because of work or because of school and education. And we've just sort of had to come back home and deal with a lot of stuff that we probably, I wouldn't say forgotten how to deal with, but at least have learned to live without having to deal with for
Right,
longer durations of time.
right, right.
So I feel like that's been the biggest learning, which also intensifies the need for us to look at, like you said, online spaces as long-term, sustainable spaces of safety and care, and
Hmm.
not just as make-do alternative spaces which don't receive the same amount of
Yeah,
attention, I think.
yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, and like you said, over the year, the last year has been my first year out of, say, like in the professional workforce, quote unquote. But the number of relationships I've made over the last year has been incredible simply because the internet is here and it's allowing
Yes,
me to do that.
that,
Um, and I feel like it's just come at a time when we have the resources to use and build online community spaces,
hmm.
which I think can be sustainable. But I do think that there's a lot of work to be done in that sphere as well.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And I love that you bring up like friendship and connection you're forming in these spaces as well. Because I mean, you meet someone at an event, there is likely to be some degree of like political alignment, value alignment.
Yeah.
And if you're engaging in, let's say, a course like you did at One Future Collective, right?
Yeah.
Let's say you're studying something like gender justice or like prevention aspect for one whole week together. I mean, you're bound
Yeah.
to form that connection with each other. And Charuvi, who's joined us here, was in fact like I've met her through a
Yeah.
learning with OFC program, and we've become quite tight as well. So I think that's it's really quite beautiful. Of course, like it is a privilege to be able to access online
Definitely.
spaces
Yeah.
and be
Yeah. Which
comfortable.
is,
Yeah,
yeah, I think, which really ties into the point about how we need to, now that we've seen at least some level of in such spaces, it becomes incredibly important for us to make that accessible to everyone. Like I said, maybe doing it in the physical space for a lot of us may not necessarily be as I think possible, but having access to spaces online really helps us build that life that I think at some level we want to. And like you said, a lot of these spaces have, I think, fill us with solidarity, not just because of our own political and social belief systems or our experiences, but also in the context of what's happening in India and around the world. Um, and it really drives home the point that
yeah,
nothing that's personal is very different from what our lives are outside or what's political. And I think that really comes out when you meet with these people and when you have these conversations, because like the conversations we host in these spaces are conversations that are probably difficult to have outside.
correct.
And the another reason why online spaces work incredibly well for me, and I have a lot of people, is um it's much easier for me to say these things to strangers I've met online than it
Hmm.
is to say to people who've known me my entire lives. And there is a reason for that. It's
Hmm.
difficult for me to have these conversations with my parents, but knowing that there is a space like this I can go and speak with, and I can say that, look, I don't know the answer to this, but I know it's really messed up. But I
Hmm.
also don't know how to stand up to my parents, right? Because
Yeah,
I don't know what to say to them. Like, for all their faults, maybe I share a good relationship with them. And how do I
correct,
navigate that nuance and that
correct.
guilt, for example? And those are not conversations I think we can have with people who know us too well. I think at some
That's
level,
yeah.
it
That is a
becomes, I think, really
perfect.
difficult.
Correct, correct.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think being online has also helped us navigate that in a way I
Hmm.
haven't seen before. Yeah.
Seems to be some issue with my connectivity as usual, but we'll live with it. Yeah, no, that's wonderfully said, Utanshi. I know that One Future Collective has been doing a lot of work in this space, and you've been leading a lot of those initiatives yourself. And now we have come up with the One Future Festival, which is yet another opportunity for us to, meet these communities. That validation that we're seeking, those safe spaces, explore some of these interesting, nuanced topics, like you said. So I'd love to know what One Future Collective, what other things One Future Collective is doing to foster these online safe spaces. And if you could tell us a little bit about the festival and all those good things, how can we sign up? How much do
Yeah.
we have to pay? All of that. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think when the pandemic hit us, obviously across the world, but also us, like at One Future Collective, we're obviously a very, very young team. Our organization's really young. But the one thing we knew as soon as the pandemic hit was we can't stop what we're doing, because
Hmm.
the community that comes to us, the community that shares with us, does not just look at us as service providers, but looks at
Hmm.
us as an active space where they can come and just vent or just
Hmm.
come and share what they're feeling.
And
And
be there.
honestly, we struggled. Sorry?
No, what I felt personally at One Future Collective and what it gives me is that I can be my authentic self, and it gives me then the courage and the home and the grounding to be that person in other spaces as well. So absolutely, you're not just a service provider.
Yeah, and it's just that hearing that from a community really pushed us to saying,
Mm.
what, we figured it out, but what we are doing offline, we need to find a way to do it online. And
Mm-hmm.
while the world was moving online, we were also sort of trying to figure out what a Zoom meeting is, or how the app works and all of that. But then what we started realizing was just holding space for more than conversation, for more than say workshops or courses.
Hmm.
Over the past couple of months, and I think almost a year now, not only have we shifted all of our courses and training programs online to make them accessible to people across India and sometimes even across the world, what we've
Yeah.
also what we've also done is realize the value in just holding spaces for people to come together and talk. So over the year, we've really gone, really sort of amped that up. And we've hosted circles, we've hosted just conversation spaces where people can come share with us what they're feeling. And we've always tried to learn from and reflect back the needs of our community. So if we have felt that there is a need for people to come together and people want to just sort of get together and speak with each other and even just rant about the pandemic, right? We've sort of tried to hold that space, and even if we haven't done it in a formal event or come join us on a Zoom call sort of way, I've definitely felt that the team at OFC works very hard to work with the community that we're in touch with regularly. um, which obviously includes you and a lot of other wonderful people who've done our long-term programs, our fellowships, our learning with OFC programs, where people want to be associated with us for a longer period of time as well. And I feel like
But
we rely on that space
yeah,
as much as I think they rely on us.
yeah,
And if our community didn't speak to us or engage with us as much, we wouldn't know how to gauge where we want to be, whatever, five
yeah,
years from now,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
A big
yeah.
part of how we plan is what our community needs and how
Correct.
we can reposition ourselves with whatever resources we have, to
Yeah.
make sure that those needs are in some way being met.
Yeah.
This also includes our helpline being shifted completely. Earlier, it was supposed to be a whole team working together. Now, because of the pandemic, that shifted
Hmm.
considerably. But I think the team has also really stepped up when it comes to that. But over the year, it's really been a space for learning for us, because we didn't see online spaces as having this much potential, right? To be able
Hmm.
to reach such big numbers of people, but to
Correct.
also know that the stories are same across the world,
Correct.
to also know that the struggles and the feelings we're going through are very, very similar across the world, which are
Yeah.
not, I think, which are not insights we could have developed if not for the opportunity to develop these spaces. But
Right.
again, just want to highlight that, of course, it's not accessible to everyone. We've lost a big part of the community we work
Yeah.
with over the last year, and
Right.
we're trying to understand how we can bridge that gap. But of course, that's a longer, much detailed conversation to have. But definitely, I think a lens that we can't look past.
For sure. And also, like, I think what I've loved about the way OFC has transitioned is you've not just been, like you said, about, oh, development, skill development. Yes, that's a big part of it, and that's amazing. But there have also been like poetry nights and like
Yeah.
spaces for people to just come together and hang and rest and relax and just have fun together, which is so important because, like you said, homes haven't been the safest spaces for so many of us. So a lot of us did seek recourse to these online safe spaces. And yes, of course, like you said, it's not accessible to everybody, and we did lose out on a big chunk of our
Yeah.
community that we were working very closely with at the grassroots. But yeah, I think like going forward, we may get an opportunity to engage with them as well, like hopefully with the vaccine being
Yeah.
out I mean, the cases are not going down anytime soon,
Yeah.
but oh no, I will manifest this. Because how else? Like hope is so
Yeah,
integral,
it's
and
so important. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
For sure.
So please tell me about the One Future Festival, and please tell me, I mean, cost again, since we're talking about accessibility. Um, what kind of
Yeah.
moolah are the audience looking to shell out?
So I think, like just taking forward from the conversation we've been having so far, a big part of what we do is moving beyond just saying, okay, you have the skills, we'll build them, and you go become leaders. Like that is part of what we do. But then we also realize and acknowledge there is this very urgent need for us to build a space for people to come together, acknowledge the year that's been, spend some time with people that they've probably not met. And I know that over the last year, we really haven't had that chance to meet with a lot of new, interesting people. And I think that drove us to think about the One Future Festival. It made us design the festival. It's scheduled from the 23rd to the 25th of April, and it's a 2.5 day festival. Um, we have a bunch of different spaces. We have learning spaces, which include workshops and panels.
Yeah.
We also have something called creative corners, where we don't think that, so that participants are also able to make something and take it back home with them. So these can be art based, these can be, even like other skill based learning, but here participants are co-creating something together.
Hmm.
And then, of course, we have a lot of other community spaces, which are just like very, very fun, very easy to get through spaces. You must have seen our schedule, which was launched just on Saturday. We
Yes.
have a teletrivia night, we have a midnight discussion space, we have a speed networking space. So
Mhm.
we have a bunch of these other fun spaces happening alongside and parallel to these, workshops, panels, and creative corners. So there are a
But
bunch of different
I
things
recommend the
attendees.
workshop that is being led by me. You highly recommend the digital sex ed workshop, right? Like that's
Yes,
the one that.
yes,
Okay.
definitely, Aprupa.
Yeah.
Definitely, without a doubt, without a doubt. Which is, yeah, and just for everybody tuning in, Aprupa is doing one of the creative corners, and we're really really excited to learn from Aprupa and the wonderful, lovely work that Aprupa does. But yeah, I think if we've planned this in a way where different people who may have different needs can come together and just chill with each other, learn something, make some new friends, leave. Registrations for it are available on our website, which is onefuturefestival.com. You can go there and register for it. It's completely free of cost, with, of course,
Ooh,
donations.
yes.
We want to make sure that anybody who wants to be a part of it and can have access to the internet is able to join us. And we want to make sure that anybody who wants to spend time with other people is able to. And we really want to make sure money is not a bar.
Yeah.
We do have an option for donations for those of our participants who want to support a community-led feminist festival. But that's about the pricing as well.
Yeah.
We've already released the first leg of the schedule.
A lot of you can. So please donate generously. One Fisher Collective is doing some incredible work. You can go check it out on their page and on their website. And they're very transparent with their use of funds as well. So you can, you will know that it's being put to good use. So please donate generously if you can. But of course, if you can't, don't let that stop you, like Utanshi said, and please access the safe space.
Yes, thank you so much for that, Aprupa. I've just added the link to our website, which is being updated every day with information as it's coming up. But just a quick insight into people who are just joining in. Those of you who do register early on, we do have a bunch of like goodies being sent out to you alone, which include like newsletters and stuff. So last week, one of the editions was curated by Sukhne. This week's edition, which just went out today, is curated by the Nook Seeker, Ria,
What?
who put
Okay.
together a lovely
So much
newsletter.
to do this.
No, so please just, I'm just saying that we're doing everything we can to make this for you and about you. And I just really hope that it is the space that we want to create and it is what we want it to be. And we do really hope that, it is something that you all want to be a part of as well.
Yay. Okay, wonderful. And on that very beautiful note, thank you, Tanshi, for joining
Thank
us today.
you, Prabha.
and for talking about online safe me for joining me for joining me today and for talking to me about online safe spaces, and also for talking to me about the One Future Festival, but technically us, I guess, because audience also. um, so yeah, this is a lot of fun, and I hope this is the first of very many lives that we do together and
Yes, for sure.
together.
Yes, definitely, Aprupa. Thank you so much. It was lovely being here and speaking with you.
Yeah, yes, bye.
Bye. Bye.